Good evening, everyone. I am Daniel Hill with 13 WMAZ, and I'm reporting to you from my office on a man, one who so heavily persecuted the Christian religion and later turned to the Christian faith and became one of the most influential Christians to date. This man is known as Paul, formerly known as Saul of Tarsus. Before Paul became a follower of the one named Christ, he devoted his life to a passionate religious group known as the Pharisees. Paul watched over the stoning of Stephen, who was in fact a follower of Jesus, and later began to persecute the Christian church even more. He would venture on, with the authority of the Pharisaical group, to bring these Christians into custody. It is reported that Paul was on his way to persecute Christians when he encountered the risen Jesus. According to the reports, Paul was led by those around him to Damascus, to a place on Straight Street, where he received his sight from another Christian who prayed for him. Paul later began to travel, and he became one of the pillars of the early Christian movement as he went on 3 separate missionary journeys and possibly established around 20 churches from Ephesus to Smyrna to Colossae, only to name a few. We have been told that Paul also wrote many letters to these churches, and the Christians in these areas highly revere these letters as they believe they are good for teaching and for reproof. Paul also faced in his lifetime many persecutions for being a follower of Jesus. He was almost stoned to death. He was beaten, he was thrown into prison, he was shipwrecked, and bitten by snakes, to name only a few of the trials that he encountered. But through all of these trials, Paul stayed faithful to the Christian movement. Paul lived the remainder of his life in service to Jesus Christ, who is, in fact, the God of the Christians. And towards the end of his life, he was imprisoned, and eventually he was executed by the Romans. Paul, a man who devoted his life to persecuting Christians, later fights for the expansion of this very religion that he fought so very hard to destroy, and eventually gave his life for it. This was the life and the death of the man named Paul.